Please rise as we pay honor and respect due to the flag of our nation. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please join as she sings the Star Spangled Banner. No? All right. You may please be seated.
Good evening and welcome to the annual District Geography Bee. My name is Terry Toomey and I will be the host and moderator of the Bee. The 22 contestants on stage represent 7th and 8th grade students from our 11 elementary schools. The students will compete for first, second, and third place by answering a series of geography questions. Prior to the Bee, I discussed the rules with the contestants, but I would like to also take a few minutes now and review the rules with the audience. All of the questions used in the Bee follow the guidelines established by the National Geography Standards. Each contestant has 15 seconds to answer the question. 1 point will be awarded for each correct response. The preliminary competition consists of 5 rounds. At the end of the 5 rounds, points will be totaled and the contestant with the most points will move on to the second part of the competition, the final rounds. Competition begins anew with the final rounds. Here, a contestant is eliminated after answering 2 questions incorrectly. Final round questions will continue until 2 finalists and a third place winner are determined. Those 2 finalists will compete in the championship round. Again, the contestants in this round compete with a clean slate. The championship round consists of 3 questions. The contestant with the most correct responses wins. If there is a tie, a single elimination procedure will begin until we have a winner. Contestants must use present-day names unless the question involves history and other names would be correct in the context of the question. Shortened forms of country names are acceptable, such as United Kingdom or Great Britain or simply Britain. Contestants will not be penalized for inaccurate pronunciations so long as it can be determined that you know the correct answer. Contestants may pass a question if they do not know the answer. However, a pass will count as an incorrect answer. Right? And most of all, have fun. Okay? Right. Before we begin, I'd like to... Okay, never mind. All right, I'd like to also introduce the judge to my right, Ms. Colleen Rushmack, the Bayonne High School social studies teacher. Right? And I'd also like to remind the audience to please turn off all electronic devices. Right? Let's start the Bee. So can I have Cedric come up to the podium? Right, as soon as Cedric is done, we'll go back and Carissa, you could start to walk up, okay? Round 1 is U.S. geography. Questions in round 1 are about the geography of the United States. Right, Cedric, which state capital is closer to the Gulf of Mexico, Little Rock or Columbus?
Little Rock.
Correct. The outer. As soon as that person starts walking away from the podium, the next person can move up. Okay? Are you ready? Yeah. The Adirondack Mountains are found in which state? Connecticut or New York?
Connecticut.
New York. Independence, a starting point for exploration along the Oregon Trail, is in a town in which state? Missouri or South Carolina?
Missouri.
Correct. The Outer Banks are barrier islands in which state? North Carolina or Florida?
Florida.
North Carolina. Which river runs through South Dakota? The Columbia River or the Missouri River?
The Missouri River.
Correct. Which is the largest U.S. lake west of the Mississippi River? Lake Mead or the Great Salt Lake?
The Great Salt Lake.
Correct. Mount McKinley, the highest peak in North America, is in which state? Colorado or Alaska?
Alaska?
Correct. Which city is located on the northeastern shore of San Francisco Bay? Oakland or Phoenix?
Can you repeat the question?
Which city is located on the northeastern shore of San Francisco Bay? Oakland or Phoenix?
Oakland.
Correct. Cape Cod, known for its beautiful shoreline, is located in which state? Massachusetts or West Virginia?
West Virginia?
Massachusetts. Which crop is more important to the economy of Florida? Lumber or oranges?
Oranges?
Correct. The Chicago River flows across northern Illinois from which lake? Lake Michigan or Lake Huron?
Lake Michigan.
Correct. Valley Forge National Historical Park is located just outside of which large city? Philadelphia or Boston?
Philadelphia?
Correct. The Great Basin can be found in which state? Missouri or Nevada?
Missouri.
Nevada. The Potomac River flows past Washington, D.C. from its sources in which mountains? The Ozarks or the Appalachians?
The Appalachians.
Correct. Mobile is the chief seaport of which state on the Gulf of Mexico? Alabama or Louisiana?
Louisiana?
Alabama. The Battle of Little Bighorn was fought in which present-day state? Texas or Montana?
Texas?
Montana. Lexington and Bowling Green are cities located in which state? Kentucky or Delaware?
Delaware.
Kentucky. Hurricanes are more likely to strike which coast of the United States? The Atlantic coast or the Pacific coast?
Atlantic?
Correct. The geographic center of the lower 48 states lies in which state? Kansas or Idaho?
Idaho.
Kansas. Which river runs between Arizona and California before entering Mexico? The Platte River or the Colorado River?
Colorado River.
Correct. The famous colonial town of Williamsburg is located in which state? Indiana or Virginia?
Virginia?
Correct. Lewis and Clark traveled through which present-day state as they explored the Louisiana Purchase? North Dakota or Arkansas?
Arkansas?
North Dakota. All right, round two. Start anew with Cedric. These are geographic comparisons in the United States. In round two, you will be asked questions about geographic comparisons of the United States. Which state is smaller in terms of area, Alabama or California?
Alabama.
Correct. Which state has a longer coastline, Connecticut or North Carolina?
Can you repeat the question?
Which state has a longer coastline, Connecticut or North Carolina?
North Carolina.
Correct. Which state is farther north, Indiana or Vermont?
Vermont.
Correct. Which city is closer to the Canadian border, Seattle or Sacramento?
Seattle.
Correct. Which state produces more coal, Florida or West Virginia?
Could you repeat?
Which state produces more coal, Florida or West Virginia?
West Virginia.
Correct. Which state has more volcanoes, Alaska or Oklahoma?
Alaska.
Correct. Which region produces more cars, the Southwest or the Great Lakes?
The Southwest.
The Great Lakes. Which state receives more precipitation, Washington or Nevada?
Washington.
Correct. Which city is farther south, Denver or El Paso?
El Paso.
Correct. Which state is closer to Nova Scotia, Maine or Delaware?
Maine.
Correct. Which state has more national parks, Kansas or Wyoming?
Wyoming.
Correct. Which state has contains more Civil War battlefields, Virginia or Oregon?
Oregon.
Virginia. Which state has a larger population, New York or Ohio?
New York.
Correct. Which river is farther west, the Colorado River or the Potomac River?
The Colorado River.
Correct. Which city is located closer to sea level, Los Angeles or Denver?
Los Angeles.
Correct. Which state has more square miles of national forest, Montana or Indiana?
Indiana.
Montana. Which state has a smaller area, Mississippi or Delaware?
Delaware.
Correct. Which state has higher mountains, Nevada or Virginia?
Virginia.
Nevada. Which state produces more cattle, Texas or New Hampshire?
Texas.
Correct. Which state has more people per square mile, North Dakota or Massachusetts? Massachusetts.
North Dakota.
Massachusetts. Which state is less populous? I'm sorry, which city is less populous? New Orleans or Carson City?
Carson City.
Correct. What state is more mountainous, Kansas or Colorado?
Colorado.
Correct. All right, round three. Cedric? Okay, round three is historic places in the United States. Questions in round three are about historic places in the United States. To walk along the Freedom Trail to see Paul Revere's house, you would travel to which state, Ohio or Massachusetts?
Massachusetts.
Correct. To To visit the U.S. Military Academy in West Point, where Ulysses S. Grant and Douglas MacArthur studied, you would travel to which state? New York or Montana?
Montana.
New York. To visit Independence Hall, where the Declaration of Independence was signed, you would travel to which state? Pennsylvania or West Virginia?
Pennsylvania.
Correct. To see the USS Arizona Memorial in Pearl Harbor, site of the surprise Japanese attack in 1941, you would travel to which state? Alaska or Hawaii?
Could you repeat it?
Sure. To see the USS Arizona Memorial in Pearl Harbor, site of the surprise Japanese attack in 1941, you would travel to which state?
Hawaii.
Alaska or Hawaii?
Hawaii.
Correct. To explore St. Augustine, the oldest permanent existing European settlement in the United States, you would travel to which state? Florida or Vermont?
Vermont.
Florida. To visit the site of John Brown's grave in Harper's Ferry at the confluence of the Potomac and Shenandoah rivers, you would travel to which state? West Virginia or Oklahoma?
Oklahoma.
West Virginia. To visit Tombstone, site of the showdown at the OK Corral, you would travel to which state? Delaware or Arizona?
Delaware.
Arizona. To visit Churchill Downs, the site of a famous horse race for 125 years, you would travel to which state? South Dakota or Kentucky?
Kentucky.
Correct. To visit Fort Raleigh and learn about the mystery of its lost colony, you would travel to an island that is part of which state? North Carolina or Utah?
Can you repeat the question?
To visit Fort Raleigh and learn about the mystery of its lost colony, you would travel to an island that is part of which state? North Carolina or Utah?
North Carolina.
Correct. To see Chimney Rock, an important landmark for pioneers traveling at the Oregon Trail, you would travel to which state? Maryland or Nebraska?
Nebraska.
Correct. To visit the site of the Battle of the Little Bighorn, where Lieutenant Colonel George Custer and his men were defeated by Native Americans, you would travel to which state? Maine or Montana?
Could you repeat the question?
To visit the site of the Battle of the Little Bighorn, where Lieutenant Colonel George Custer and his men were defeated by Native Americans, you would travel to which state? Maine or Montana?
Montana.
Correct. To visit Skagway, a boomtown during the Klondike Gold Rush, you would travel to which state? Alaska or Georgia?
Georgia.
Alaska. To see Cherokee, Chickasaw, Choctaw Creek, and Seminole artifacts of the 5 Civilized Tribes Museum, you would travel to which state? Connecticut or Oklahoma?
Oklahoma.
Correct. To visit Fort Sumter in Charleston Harbor, where the Civil War began, you would travel to which state? South Carolina or Mississippi?
South Carolina.
Correct. To visit the Alamo, a site of a Mexican Army victory in the 1830s, you would travel to which state? Texas or Indiana?
Texas.
Correct. To bathe in the waters of Hot Springs National Park, believed to have been visited by Hernando de Soto in the 1540s, you would travel to which state? Nevada or Arkansas?
Can you repeat the question?
To bathe in the waters of Hot Springs National Park, believed to have been visited by Hernando de Soto in the 1540s, you would travel to which state? Nevada or Arkansas?
Arkansas.
Correct. To visit Harlem, a part of Manhattan that experienced a renaissance in African American music and literature in the early 1990s, you would travel to which state? California or New York?
New York.
Correct. Sorry. To visit the home of President Harry S. Truman near Kansas City, you would travel to which state? Missouri or Illinois?
Missouri.
Correct. To see the laboratory where George Washington Carver conducted research on peanuts at the Tuskegee Institute, you would travel to which state? Alabama or Wisconsin?
Could you repeat the question?
To see the laboratory where George Washington Carver conducted research on peanuts at the Tuskegee Institute, you would travel to which state? Alabama or Wisconsin?
Wisconsin.
Alabama. To visit the harbor where Francis Scott Key wrote the words for the Star-Spangled Banner during the British attack in the War of 1812, you would travel to which state? Michigan or Maryland?
Can we repeat the question?
To visit the harbor where Francis Scott Key wrote the words for the Star-Spangled Banner during a British attack in the War of 1812, you would travel to which state? Michigan or Maryland?
Maryland.
Correct. To visit the first successful water-powered cotton mill in the U.S., which opened in the 1790s, you would travel to a city north of Narragansett Bay in which state? Rhode Island or Idaho?
Idaho.
Rhode Island. To visit Virginia City, which became a boomtown when silver was discovered at the Comstock Lode in the mid-1800s, you would travel to which state? Vermont or Nevada?
Nevada.
Correct. Okay, round 4, sister. Right, round 4. The subject of questions in round 4 is continents. Right? The choices are any of the 7 continents. Right? Number 1. Which of the 7 continents has the lowest average annual precipitation?
Africa.
Antarctica. Mesopotamia is an ancient region on which continent?
May you please repeat the question?
Mesopotamia is an ancient region on which continent?
Africa.
Asia. Which continent experiences more tornadoes than any other?
North America.
Correct. Scientists believe that about 120 million years ago, South America began to break away from which other continent?
Could you repeat it?
Sure. Scientists believe that about 120 million years ago, South America began to break away from which other continent?
Africa.
Correct. Most of the islands of the Caribbean Sea are considered part of which continent?
North America.
Correct. The North Atlantic Current brings warm waters from the tropics to the west coast of which continent?
Could you repeat the question?
The North Atlantic Current brings warm waters from the tropics to the west coast of which continent?
North America.
Europe. Which continent is crossed by every line of longitude?
Africa.
Antarctica. The world's longest mountain chain is on which continent?
Antarctica.
South America. Prairie is a term used for temperate grasslands on which continent?
North America.
Correct. Which continent has the world's largest known oil reserves?
Africa.
Asia. The Carpathian Mountains are located in the eastern part of which continent?
Europe.
Correct. On which continent would you find the world's largest tropical rainforest and the world's driest place?
Europe.
South America. Which continent, covering nearly 1/3 of Earth's land surface, was crossed by Marco Polo?
Asia.
Correct. The Great Rift Valley extends through much of the eastern portion of which continent?
Africa.
Correct. Slavic languages are spoken by people who live in the eastern part of which continent?
Europe.
Correct. Melbourne and Brisbane are state capitals on which continent?
Can you repeat the question?
Melbourne and Brisbane are state capitals on which continent?
North America.
Australia. The white potato was introduced to Europe by Spanish explorers returning from which continent?
South America.
Correct. Which continent has the world's longest river and the largest hot desert?
South America.
Africa. Which continent, after Antarctica, has the fewest number of people?
Could you repeat the question?
Which continent, after Antarctica, has the fewest number of people?
Asia.
Australia. Which country offers scientists a unique opportunity to study the ozone layer and the world weather patterns with little to no interference from human development?
Antarctica.
Correct. Angel Falls, the world's highest waterfall, is on which continent?
Asia.
South America. In the 1300s, a major epidemic known as the Black Death killed more than 1/4 of the population of which continent?
Europe.
Correct. Last preliminary rounds 5. Cedric? This is the geography of culturally important places and issues. In round 5, you will be asked questions about the geography of culturally important places. There are no answer choices. Which Asian country experienced many cultural and artistic achievements during the Tang Dynasty?
Mongolia.
China. What is the primary language of Austria?
Can you repeat the question?
What is the primary language of Austria? No. German. In which Asian country would you find houses with shoji traditional sliding doors that are covered with translucent white paper?
China.
Japan. What language, written from right to left, is the official language of Saudi Arabia?
Arabic.
Correct. The Great Sphinx, a 4,500-year-old statue that has the body of a lion and the head of a human, is a landmark near what river?
Could you repeat?
The Great Sphinx, a 4,500-year-old statue that has the body of a lion and the head of a human, is a landmark near what river?
The Nile.
Correct. Name the politically divided island in northwestern Europe that has a Protestant majority in the north and a Catholic majority in the south.
Could you repeat the question?
Name the politically divided island in northwestern Europe that has a Protestant majority in the north and a Catholic majority in the south.
Could you repeat again?
Name the politically divided island in northwestern Europe that has a Protestant majority in the north and a Catholic majority in the south. Ireland. Approximately 1/3 of Argentina's population lives in and around what capital city?
Pass.
Buenos Aires.
Okay.
Namibia has a large number of Lutherans because it was once a colony of which European country?
Great Britain.
Germany. The Vienna Boys Choir is one of the cultural attractions in which European country?
Could you repeat it again?
The Vienna Boys Choir is one of the cultural attractions in which European country?
England.
Austria. Bonn, Dusseldorf, and Cologne are major European cities along which river?
Can you repeat that, please?
Bonn, Dusseldorf, and Cologne are major European cities along which river?
Can you repeat it again? I'm sorry.
The Bonn, Dusseldorf, and Cologne are major European cities along which river?
The White River.
The Rhine River. Sherpas, people of Tibetan heritage known for their mountainous climbing ability, live primarily in which mountains of Asia?
Himalayas.
Correct. Which African country along the southern shore of Lake Victoria has Swahili and English as its official, which island African country along the southern shore of Lake Victoria has Swahili and English as its official language? Tanzania. An opera house was built in Cairo to celebrate the opening of what canal in 1869?
Suez Canal.
Correct. What empire in the Andes was discovered by the Spanish in 1532 when Atahualpa was its emperor?
Can you repeat the question?
What empire in the Andes was discovered by the Spanish in 1532 when Alalupa was its emperor?
The Inca Empire.
Correct. People living in the Little Havana neighborhood in Miami try to preserve their traditions from which country?
Can you repeat it?
People living in the Little Havana neighborhood of Miami try to preserve their traditions from which country?
Spain?
Cuba. Calabrian, Sicilian, and Neapolitan are regional dialects of which European language?
Scottish?
Italian. Calypso music originated on the islands located in which sea in North America?
Caribbean.
Correct. The Vikings were Scandinavian seafarers who invaded much of Europe and settled around the mouth of the Seine River in what country?
Poland?
France. The Vedas are a collection of writings that are sacred to what religion in South Asia?
Could you repeat the question?
The Vedas are a collection of writings that are sacred to what religion in South Asia?
Mongolia?
Hinduism. People who call themselves Boers were early settlers in which present-day African country?
Can you repeat the question?
People who call themselves Boers were early settlers in which present-day African country?
Morocco?
South Africa. Good guess. Name the easternmost island country of the Caribbean that is internationally known for cricket playing.
May you repeat the question?
Name the easternmost island country of the Caribbean that is internationally known for cricket playing. Barbados. The last question of the preliminary round. Venus de Milo, a famous statue of the goddess of love and beauty, is named after an island in the Aegean Sea. This island is part of which country?
Italy?
Greece. Right. Okay, thank you. That's the end of the preliminary rounds. At this point, we will take a 10-minute break to tally up the scores and to see who will advance to the next round. Right? If you want to come off the stage, leave your name tags on, right? And come down off the stage, you use the bathroom, get a drink. Superintendent of Schools, Mr. Neese, and Board of Ed, Mr. Maggio. Thank you for your support. Right? Can I have the following students return to the stage and sit in the order that I call you up?
And Vice President, Trustee Gonzalez, thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
He's stuck.
And Trustee Gonzalez, Vice President Gonzalez. All right, Daniel, Iffy, Taha, Ermin, Jason, Abdullah, and Alan. All right, if we could give a round of applause to all of our participants. This is not an easy competition. It was Taha, Ermin, Jason, Abdullah, Alan. Alan was on the end. Perfect. Right. So this is 2 questions, right? And then we're out, okay? Right. So at this point, I would like to thank all our participants, right? You may elect to pass again, right? But it counts as a wrong answer. There are no answer choices, right? Right. You ready? Right. World geography, right? Daniel? World geography is the topic for round 6. Mumbai is a major port city in which country that has a population of more than 1 billion people?
India?
Correct. Which landlocked European country, a Grand Duchy, is surrounded by Belgium, Germany, and France?
Could you repeat it?
Which landlocked European country, a Grand Duchy, is surrounded by Belgium, Germany, and France?
The Netherlands?
Luxembourg. The island of Borneo is shared by Brunei, Indonesia, and what other country?
Could you repeat?
The island of Borneo is shared by Brunei, Indonesia, and what other country?
Malaysia.
Correct. Around 3000 BC, the Sumerians built some of the world's first known cities in southern Mesopotamia. This region is part of which present-day Persian Gulf country?
Could you repeat the question?
Around 3000 BC, the Sumerians built some of the world's first known cities in southern Mesopotamia. This region is part of which present-day Persian Gulf country?
Saudi Arabia?
Iraq. Florence, a city located on the Arno River, is home to the elaborate Bovoli Gardens in which country?
Italy?
Correct. Gold and uranium are found in the outback, an interior region of which country bordering on the Pacific and Indian Ocean?
Australia.
Correct. The Dead Sea, which has about 9 times the salinity of ocean water, lies between Israel and which country?
Jordan.
Correct. Okay, Daniel? Antigua, located in a valley surrounded by volcanoes, is one of the oldest colonial cities in which Central American country bordering Mexico?
Can you repeat the question?
Antigua, located in a valley surrounded by volcanoes, is one of the oldest colonial cities in which Central American country bordering Mexico?
Guatemala,
Correct. The Central Asian nations of Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan, and Tajikistan all border what landlocked country in the Hindu Kush Mountains?
Could you repeat that?
The Central Asian nations of Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan, and Tajikistan all border what landlocked country in the Hindu Kush Mountains?
Kyrgyzstan?
Afghanistan. Great, thank you. That's 2. You can take it with you. Thank you. The Salzburg Festival, one of Europe's most important and famous musical events, takes place annually in which Alpine country?
Could you repeat?
The Salzburg Festival, one of Europe's most important and famous musical events, takes place annually in which Alpine country? Do you want to take it down?
France.
Go ahead.
France.
Austria. No, you, there's only one, honey, you get 2. Oh. Right. In the 8th century, the Moors conquered much of the Iberian Peninsula, including the city of Granada, which is in what present-day country?
Portugal.
Spain. Other side. Thank you, Ermin. The Westman Islands, located in the mid-Atlantic ridge, are a small archipelago neighboring which European country?
May repeat.
The Westman Islands, located in the mid-Atlantic ridge, are a small archipelago neighboring which European country?
Spain.
Iceland. The Gulf Islands form an archipelago east of Vancouver Island and are administered by what country?
Canada.
Correct. Hadrian's Wall, a defensive structure built by the Romans, stretches across which country?
The UK.
Correct. Right, the next set of questions is about oceans. So you have 4 choices between the oceans, right? So any of the 4 oceans, right? At nearly 7 miles deep, the Mariana Trench is the deepest point on Earth. In which ocean is it located?
Pacific Ocean,
Correct. The Ring of Fire, a region that experiences a large number of earthquakes and volcanic eruptions, is mainly located along which ocean?
Pacific.
Correct. The Somali Current, a surface current that changes with the seasonal monsoon, is in Southeast Asia, is located in which ocean?
May you repeat.
The Somali Current, a surface current that changes with the seasonal monsoon in Southeast Asia, is located in which ocean?
Indian Ocean.
Correct. Narwhals are called the unicorns of the sea due to their large tusks. Narwhals can be found near the Barents Sea in which ocean?
The Arctic Ocean.
Correct. Giant tube worms can grow more than 6 feet tall. These worms can be found near the Galapagos Islands in which ocean?
Pacific.
Correct. All right, Daniel, inside of the podium is a map.
inside.
Right, did you find it?
No.
Take a couple seconds to look it over, and then the questions I'm going to ask ask you pertain to the map. Did you find it?
Where is it?
Can someone read something? It's inside, it's a map.
This one?
Yes. Okay. You ready, Daniel?
Yeah.
All right, what state bordering the Gulf of Mexico had the lowest freshwater withdrawal?
Alabama?
Mississippi. Hey, Taha, if you want to look at the map, take a couple seconds to look it over. Which state that borders Iowa had freshwater withdrawals of less than 2,000 million gallons per day?
Could you repeat?
Which state that borders Iowa had freshwater withdrawals of less than 2,000 million gallons per day?
Oklahoma.
South Dakota.
Oh.
Thank you, Daniel. I'm sorry, Taha. Sorry. Taha. All right. All right, take a couple minutes, Jason, to look it over. You ready? Which state bordering Arkansas had freshwater withdrawals of 20,000 to 33,000 gallons per day? Which state bordering Arkansas had freshwater withdrawals of 20,000 to 33,000 gallons per day?
Louisiana?
Texas. That's 2. But hold on a second. Go ahead, yes, I'm sorry. Which state bordering West Virginia had the highest freshwater withdrawals?
Virginia?
Ohio. You ready? Which state bordering Kansas had the lowest freshwater withdrawals?
Oklahoma?
Correct. Right. This is for 3rd place now, right? No more math, we're not using the math anymore, right? The remaining final round questions are going to require all oral answers, right? And there's no choices, right? Hilton Head Island, the largest coastal island between New Jersey and Florida, lies south of Port Royal Sound in which state?
Can you repeat that?
Hilton Head Island, the largest coastal island between New Jersey and Florida, lies south of Port Royal Sound in which state?
North Carolina?
South Carolina. Right, 1 second, Daniel, don't leave yet though. Come on up, Abdul. Right, so Daniel, you'll be our 3rd place, right? So you can stay up there for a second though, okay? All right, you ready? All right. Tibetan legend says that a mysterious creature called the Yeti roams the snowy slopes of what mountain range?
The Himalayas?
Correct. A police force founded by Robert Peel and called Bobbies patrols the United Kingdom's largest city.
London?
Name the city.
London?
Correct. Right. All right, so congratulations, Daniel. You will be our 3rd place winner, right? Thank you, Daniel. Now, Abdul and Alan, I need you to separate and grab those clipboards and the number 1, 2, 3. I'm going to ask you 3 questions. You'll write out your answers, right? I'm going to read them twice, right? And you'll write out your answers, and then you'll come up one at a time and read out your answers, okay? India borders 2 landlocked countries to the north. Name them. India borders 2 landlocked countries to the north. Name them. Number 2, at 1,401 feet below sea level, the lowest point of land on Earth is located on the shores of what body of water? At 1,401 feet below sea level, the lowest point of land on Earth is located on the shores of what body of water? And number 3, what is another term used for lines of longitude? What is another term used for lines of longitude? All right. Markers down. Right, Abdullah, you want to come up first and read me your answers? Right. Number 1.
Nepal and Bhutan.
Okay.
Number 2 was Arctic Ocean, and number 3 was the equator.
Okay. Right, thank you. Alan? Go ahead, number 1.
Bhutan and Nepal.
Okay.
The Dead Sea.
Okay.
Meridian.
Right, congratulations, Alan. Right, you are our first place winner. All of the answers are correct. And congratulations, Abdallah, our second place winner. Right, and Daniel, our third, and to all our contestants. If I could have you all return to the stage, please, with your name tag, please. Right, thank you to all the participants. This was an exciting competition, right? At this time, I would like to call up Mr. Ward and Mr. From the Bayonne Administrators Association and the Director of Social Studies to help me hand out medals to our participants and trophies to our winners. The Bayonne Administrators Association is kind enough every year to once again donate the trophies and medals for our winners and participants. I'd like to thank all of our audiences, our judges, Ms. Rushnack, individual school moderators, I couldn't do this without you, administrators for your support, Mr. Ward, Director of Social Studies, all of Central Office, Board of Education members. Special thanks to Mr. Pondillo, Mr. Romano, and Ms. Nichols for opening up your school to us every year, and to the staff for Midtown for assisting me on the setup. Thank you again, and most of all to our participants, right? Oh, I thought he was leaving. No, he's here. Mr. Neese, would you like to come up and help, and Mr. Maggio and Mr. Gonzalez to give out awards?
Where is Daniel? Okay.
All right, from Henry Harris, Cedric. Come on up, Cedric. Carissa. Iffy? I'm sorry, those, the first two, Cedric and Carissa, are from Henry Harris School, and from Vroom School, Iffy. From Walter Robinson, Taha. Forlin. From Mary J. Donahue, Violet. And Max. From Lincoln Community, Claudia. And Cassidy. From Horace Mann, Ermin. And Sarah. From William Shaman Midtown Community, Jason. From Washington Community, Nathaniel. And Sunaya. From Woodrow Wilson, Jenna. And from John M. Bailey, Gavin. And Samuel. And then from Nicholas Oresco, Evie. And Malin. Our third place winner, Daniel from Philip G. Vroom. And our second place winner from William Shaman Midtown Community, Abdullah. And our first place winner from Woodrow Wilson, Alan. That concludes our Bee for the night. Thank you for all of the parents for your support and for coming out tonight. And then again, thank you to everybody. All right, enjoy the rest of your night.